So just as a little bit of an overview, the way this works is I'm going to invite our program representatives to give a short presentation of their programs for 5 minutes for the first part of the evening, and then we'll take questions after all of the presentations. So attendees, you can, however, leave questions in the chat in between the presentations as we go, and we also encourage programs to make use of that time to answer questions in the chat if you're able to, just in case we don't have enough time to go through all the questions at the end. And then to ensure that all the programs are adequately and equally represented, each presentation is limited to 5 minutes. So Erin will be starting a timer at the beginning of each program's presentation, and you'll be able to see on the top right of your screen a countdown, so it'll be 5 minutes, and then please try to wrap up around 30 seconds or so, just so that we're able to make sure all the programs have enough time to give their presentations. All right, so with that being said, our first program of the evening is Medical College of Georgia. So we're going to go ahead and put your infographic up. And now I'd like to invite your representative to please unmute and tell us about your program.
Thank y'all for having me. I'm excited to lead this evening. I'm Lauren Newhall, Program Director at College of Georgia University. I'm located in Augusta, Georgia. It's right along the border between Georgia and South Carolina. We have two teaching sites for our residents. Our primary is in Georgia. It's 154-bed children's level 1 PICU and a level 4 PICU. So we deliver a level of full care. Get lots of great experience. With that, our first, so people that are interested in care careers can get some early exposure, feel for whether that's a career path. Or our secondary hospital is in South Carolina, about 30 minutes away. That's a community. We have the opportunity to do newborn nursery and delivery room. We also have outpatient pediatric rotation there for first and third year. A lot of really great experience in a private setting that's a little bit different than traditional academics. Our Aiken site we're very proud of. Aiken Clinic actually has won the rotation of the year for 2 out of the last 3 years. They just kept again this summer, and they're very proud of educating about our residents. So one of the important things about our program, we do offer rotations pretty much so the opportunity to really what will be most meaningful for them in their careers, get exposure to some specialties they haven't had exposure to in medical. We also have beyond just traditional that can be created. So if there's an area that you're interested in, you have the ability to really craft your own rotation, really meaningful for you. In terms of didactics, we have a traditional morning 3 days. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays have more support, and that's a case that involves our residents, our students, and our faculty. And the rest of our didactics are pretty much delivered during an academic day. So every Tuesday afternoon, we have protected 1 to 4, and that's where we deliver the majority of the curriculum. We also have some special series that run during that time, safety and ethics. So residents get a lot of great teaching during that. Our faculty and our fellow residents run everything during daytime, so our residents can really focus on learning. In addition to that, simulation system that's pretty robust. That also academic half-day blocks. Residents have the opportunity to use state-of-the-art simulation center at the medical college. It's a 40,000 square foot center with every possibly hope for to train our residents for all those kind of high intensity things you not see as much of in the hospital setting. Every resident, when they come into our program, is assigned faculty mentor. You get 2, one for traditional mentor, the other is a research mentor. We think that's really important to get our scholarly projects early, so to actually get projects wrapped at national meetings. And when it comes to board, in addition to academic half day, I also have full responsibility for board review for our residents. That's Dr. Rebecca King. She will oversee our didactics to make sure that we need for the board. Med study quizzes for our residents, offer med study for our residents training. She will also oversee individual learning plans to identify as either training exams for residents who are difficulty, who wish to have a little additional help. She works one-on-one with those residents, identifying areas where they need improvement, really working through all 3 years of training to make sure they're prepared for them when they finish up with us. We have growth connections within our and there's lots of our residents into the community to do work, to volunteer, to see what community organizations are able to provide for our patients and our families. We have advocation during our second year. That gives opportunity to really tailor the rotation to particular interests in advocacy and get to some of the community organizations. First ever advocacy, our community groups were able to come in and the impact that the advocacy rotation has had on the organization, better advertise kind of what opportunities are there for our residents to be more involved. When it comes to the Augusta area, it's pretty low cost to some bigger metropolitan areas, so different living options for residents. Big outdoor town, so lots of kayaking, walking, biking, running. Of course, golf if you're in Augusta is always a must. So I'm so glad to get to introduce you all tonight. Residents who are with me tonight, Ryan Kidd, who's one of our PGY2s, and then Brandon, who is one of my PGY3 chiefs, are out with me to answer questions.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Newhall, and thank you to the residents from this program as well for joining. So our next program is going to be Children's Hospital of Richmond at VCU. And before we get started, we'll just give like a few seconds if anyone wants to move between breakout rooms. But if not, program representative, if you could please go ahead and unmute and begin your presentation. Thank you.
Hi, first I want to check and make sure, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, great. Thanks for the thumbs up. My name is Marinka Halou. My pronouns are she, her. I am the acting residency program director and vice chair of education in the pediatric department at the Children's Hospital of Richmond. And I'm really excited to be here and tell you about our program. We are dedicated to providing comprehensive, compassionate, and equitable care in our brand new freestanding children's hospital, which is behind me, taking up an entire city block of downtown Richmond. We're really excited to have opened the doors to our freestanding hospital. We have 17 categorical pediatric residents, in addition to 1 child neurology combined program resident per year and 4 med peds combined program residents per year. And we also have 11 distinct pediatric fellowship programs that are ACGME accredited, and then 2 that are not in pediatric obesity medicine, one of the few in the country, and academic pediatrics. We've been recognized in the U.S. News World Report in 8 of our subspecialties, including my own, pediatric hematology and oncology. And we are really proud of a couple of things about our program, specifically our mentoring program. We make sure that every resident is welcomed with a faculty mentor who sticks with them throughout their training and provides coaching as well as mentoring. We have lots of program traditions that are a lot of fun. We list here our PGY3 roast, in which the attendings and the fellows protect the residents' time so that they can all be together on that evening and roast their graduating PGY3s. We do monthly birthday celebrations. We've just recently implemented Halloween, which is a large costume party at my house, and it is a blast. We have asked our residents to describe our program, and the 3 most common words are supportive, diverse, and family-oriented. We do accept J1 visas. As far as our curriculum highlights, we are on the XY schedule, which means that we do 2-week blocks and we rotate our interns inpatient to outpatient pretty rigidly so that you will always have an inpatient rotation, outpatient, and that guarantees you some well-being and that those golden weekends that are so important. In our second and third year, the schedule is a little bit more fluid because we have less inpatient. And so you won't be flip-flopping from outpatient to inpatient because you'll be on outpatient more often. We already have an individualized curriculum, and I'm sure many of you have heard about the changes coming through the ACGME to pediatric curriculums in general, but ours is already very, very individualized, so that's going to be an easy transition for us. We have a high fidelity simulation program through our School of Medicine, which is absolutely beautiful and includes lots and lots of resources. And then one of the coolest things about our program is we are directly across the street. You can see it from the windows from the state capitol. And so there's plenty of advocacy opportunities. There's lobby day, white coat day on the Hill, and lots of involvement there. We do have an academic half day, similar to many programs, on Tuesdays, and we also have Wednesdays noon report. We have transitioned all of our residency curriculum time and didactic time and noon report all to lunchtime so that we can protect morning time for patient care. And the sort of good side effect of that is that we now provide lunch to our residents several days a week, which is a lot of fun. As far as our resident wellness initiatives, we do have that individualized coaching program with your mentor, where you will have a coach that will be with you for all 3 years that will not only go over your evaluations and whatnot with you, but will actually come and do direct observations in the clinical environment. So whether your coach is a hospitalist or a general pediatrician, they'll come to the wards and they'll watch you present and give you feedback in a non-threatening sort of way. And then we have out-of-hospital retreats, meal stipends, and parking and transportation support. We have many diversity initiatives here, as you can see, and we are committed not only to the diversity of our program and our staff, but of our patients as well. Location, I've got 20 seconds, but Richmond is a phenomenal place. It's such a cool city. It's got all the things of a big city and, you know, all the things that you'd want and none of the things that you don't. I think that's probably the easiest way to sum up Richmond. It's very outdoorsy, very dog friendly, and a fun place to be. So with that, I will give those 5 seconds back.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Halu, for that presentation. And we're just going to give a couple more seconds, but our next presentation is going to be from MedStar, Georgetown University. So, program representative, if you could please go ahead and unmute yourself and begin your presentation.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Everybody hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Great. Thank you. So my name is Kirsten Hawkins. My pronouns are she, her, and it's my pleasure to be here today. I'm the program director here at MedStar Georgetown University Pediatrics. I'm also joined by one of our now current chief residents, Brandon Albert, who's going to unmute in a few seconds too. We are located in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. We are co-located within a larger academic health center at Georgetown University Medical Center. And so we have lots of amazing opportunities being part of a larger health system. We have a huge graduate medical education, but we're the only pediatrics for the 10 hospital system. So our patients come from all over the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. We rotate though also in community hospitals and freestanding children's hospitals. So you graduate from our program with really a diverse experience in training and get an idea of what you want to do in your long-term career. We have fellows, as I mentioned in the chat before, only in our neonatal ICU. And so you're really the first one for everything. We have 11 residents per year and then 4 medicine pediatric residents per year. Our residency program has always been very diverse as well as international, reflecting our patient population here in the district. We have patients from all over the world, both inpatient and outpatient. It's always an exciting day to see. We have a strong emphasis on resident wellness. I'm going to let Brandon talk a little bit about that.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brandon Albert, Chief Resident, as Dr. Hawkins had mentioned. Really happy to be here with you all. At Georgetown, we had a great opportunity to work on resident wellness. We have created opportunities like within our academic half day as well to really help start to promote that. and explore various opportunities to figure out how to channel better potential for residents to seek that wellness as well throughout their rotations. As you can imagine, it can certainly be difficult depending on your journey, but nonetheless, a lot with resident feedback, they've really helped us to develop a great curriculum for that. We have various like programming, like physician concierge through MedStar, which really helps to kind of tie up some loose ends that may come up unexpectedly, and really help us to excuse me to navigate various situations. And speaking on diversity, as Dr. Hawkins had mentioned, we do have residents as well as patients from all over the world. I've learned a great deal from other residents who've had different training from various hospitals and different settings, which has been incredible for my experience. Being in Washington, D.C., you'll certainly experience a lot of families from all over the world. So certainly an added plus in this location. And we've certainly enjoyed our time here. There's a lot to do from a wellness opportunity, the DC being the capital, a lot of museums, a lot of opportunities for various concerts. Sports are really big here. Residents always seem to find something to do at various times of the year. So everyone always is entertained when they can be and have that time for that. But yeah, we definitely enjoyed our time here with everyone.
In terms of our curriculum, thank you, Brandon. We do have our academic half day on Tuesdays, and that's protected time for all residents. And in addition to that, we have morning report that is on the inpatient side, 1 day a week, and that's faculty and resident and medical student participation as well. And then we also have our I'm going to say our integrated behavioral health curriculum that's part of the academic half day, but also embedded into our continuity clinic. And all of our continuity clinics are in one site. And so it's pretty incredible to have everybody there, and they get the same training experience and really develop the skills and continuity clinic to manage the common behavioral health, I'm going to say, issues that we're seeing that cross not just general pediatrics, but also into our subspecialties. In addition to our training, we do have access to our simulation labs through MedStar. We do an offsite OSCE annually, and we also do some offsite annual program-wide retreats. So we've done a variety of different things, from pedal boating to this year we did kind of a team war. So PGY 1s versus 2s versus 3s versus faculty. We had a fun kind of tug of war, didn't go so well. But we have a great experience, and happy to entertain more of you to take a look at our Instagram page. Brandon here is our expert photographer. So if you see the welcome to interns, those are mostly from him. And hopefully you can get to know our program a little bit more. And I'll give 30 seconds back since we're already running late.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Hawkins and Dr. Albert, for that presentation. So our next program that we have is going to be the University of Kentucky. So program representative, if you could please unmute and begin your presentation. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Molly Stoddart. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm one of the chief residents at the University of Kentucky. And I'm here along with my co-chief resident, Vinny Weber.
Hi, everybody. I'm Vinny. My pronouns are he, him. I'm also one of the other co-chiefs at UK.
And our program is located sort of in the heart of Kentucky. We have a lot of beautiful activities to do around the city, lots of hiking, different I'm so sorry. Different music festivals and things come through our town. We have a medium-sized program. There are 12 categorical pediatric residents every year, 6 med-peds residents, 2 triple board, and 2 child neuro in each class. Our hospital has 205 beds with a level 4 NICU, PICU, and a cardiac ICU. It's also a level 1 trauma center. Our curriculum includes block scheduling, and we're exceptionally flexible and able to really create electives that are centered around what different residents would like to do. We call them selectives, where residents can really go through and work individually with attendings in areas that they're specifically interested in.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that's one of the things that like really stands out about our program is that we only have NICU and PDS-EM as a fellowship. So the residents are working directly with attendings, and that's really helpful for some of our second and third years that are trying to prepare for fellowship, is that we've created some electives for them to get them more experience with procedures or intubations and whatnot. We also offer, we're very, very family-friendly program. We had a plethora of children within our program throughout our years. And from that, we ended up creating an elective called infant nutrition so that our new moms and dads can spend some quality time with their new baby and get some academics at the same time, getting to do some healthy bonding, learning about breastfeeding and all that great stuff. I am originally from New York. I remember sitting in Future Peds Res webinar and not knowing where I was going to apply. And my wife, who's OBGYN, we applied all over. And being at the University of Kentucky, as someone who's from New York, there is so much here to offer. We have a baby here now, and we are very, very happy with Lexington and raising our daughter in this area. In fact, her family from New York is trying to come here. So there's a lot that Kentucky has to offer beyond our residents, which are tremendous, and our incredible PD. Molly is a part of our global health track, which is another tremendous thing that our program has.
Yes, the Global Health Track is really wonderful. We have residents every year apply, and our chair has been amazing at getting funding for really expanding past the original 2 residents to, I don't think anyone has been turned down in recent years. And it allows us to go every year to a clinic down in Ecuador that we partner with for week-long brigades. And then your third year, you're able to go on a month-long experience to another country. Common ones that people go to are India, Kenya, Madagascar, and Tanzania.
Yeah, so it's a lot of like incredible experience. Our residents all love it who've been able to participate in it. Kentucky just has, and our program is, we adapt very well to our residents and what their kind of expectations are in terms of residency. We're very big on resident wellness. We have monthly director meetings where we sit down with our PDs, chiefs, and the residents are just kind of like able to talk about things that are going in the program. We're very good to resident feedback. We really try to champion resident wellness at our institution. We are really up in our Instagram page, just to plug that. We have some tremendous residents who've taken charge of that. We're doing a lot of monthly activities that we've been able to really kind of incorporate faculty and resident participation in. And we're just very proud of that at UK. I think that that speaks to the people that are here and the residents as well, that we all are kind of like a big family together. And if you've never seen a horse race before, you could come down to Lexington, and it's pretty gosh darn cool.
Absolutely. Other thing that I'll say is we have projected time at noon every day for our learning, and then every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have our morning reports, which is protected. And then finally, we do have department-wide activities where attendings will take over patients and all of us can get together for really good, fun wellness activities.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Sutter and Dr. Waver, for that presentation. So our next presentation is going to be Inova Children's. So program representative, if you could please unmute and begin your presentation.
Hi there. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
I'm Patty Siomayer. I'm one of the APDs. Actually, Dr. Donnelly, who is our program director, is literally on in the ICU, and she was here, but just got called to the bedside. So I'm going to pinch hit for her. I'm actually a peds nephrologist, and so I'll do my best here. But we are a large children's hospital in Northern Virginia, about 10 miles from the DC border. And like Dr. Hawkins mentioned, the DMV, we call it, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, is a really interesting region in terms of diversity, in terms of patient pathology, and it's just a fantastic place to live and work. Our residents are really involved in everything from bread and butter, general peds, to tertiary quaternary care, including a pretty active ECMO program. We have 228 beds, and about 100 of them are actually in the NICU, so we have an extremely large, busy NICU and lots of babies being born in our region. And it's really a referral center for a lot of community hospitals. I would say that, there's a gift in being in Virginia. We are really close to the nation's capital, but also in a really interesting state that has a lot of opportunities for impact in terms of advocacy and dealing with patients of all different types of socioeconomic backgrounds, as well as medical literacy. We have a really robust immigrant population that is represented in our resident-run clinics, resident-focused clinics. Those are through Inova Cares Clinic, which is a safety net hospital-based clinic. Our residents also have the opportunity to do their continuity clinic in private practices as well. So they get a lot of different options if they're interested in primary care. We have a wonderful Pride Clinic, which is actually a med-peds oriented care site where people are really designed to help young people transition to the adult world and also have LGBTQ friendly care, and our residents can work there. We've even had a resident do their continuity clinic there because he was interested in adolescent medicine. And I think that we at Inova, it's a pretty large 7-hospital system, but the Children's Hospital is lucky to be part of an organization that is really trying to foster well-being across the whole spectrum of medical care providers, such that everybody who works at Inova has a guaranteed 25 yearly sessions of therapy or coaching per year, even if you're not on the insurance. And I know that a lot of faculty have benefited from this as well as residents. So I think the institution really puts their funding where their mouth is in terms of supporting physician and nurse and caregiver wellness. In terms of diversity and equity, we really try to approach this from an academic standpoint as well as live it in real life. We've designed a curriculum that's been published on MedEd Portal that really is designed to discuss in a very productive but real way how we deal with racism and bias in medicine and at the bedside. Like we mentioned in the chat, I think there are a lot of people excited about our region because it is an exciting region in terms of advocacy, being in the state of Virginia, being close to DC, and I think our residents get the best of both worlds. And that I'm a kind of an advocacy nerd, so I'm excited about those questions. Residents, I guess, say that our program, and some of our residents are here, Talisa, I saw, and Nikki, and then Victoria, one of our chiefs, and Alex, that we are close-knit, supportive, personalized. We don't have tracks in our program. We do encourage residents to think about an individualized curriculum. And the structure of that is they are paired with a one-on-one mentor whose job it is to really help them identify what are their curricular decisions going to be over the course of the 3 years. What do they need to get there? They check in frequently. They make sure that the resident feels supported by an attending that's just going to be there for them in a longitudinal fashion in addition to the program leadership. And we do accept both J1 and H1B visas. I don't know how much time I have, so I'll keep talking quickly. So our curriculum is a 13-block schedule. We also have 13 residents per year, so mathematically it kind of works out nicely. We have a modified X+Y schedule such that you don't go to continuity clinic during your floor and ICU months. We're actually, because of the ACGME changes, really looking to modify that in 2025 to have we're calling it an XY+Z schedule, but it will be similar to make sure that you have your dedicated time on the floors, but also have your proper continuity clinic that meets the new requirements. I mentioned the tracks. We don't have them. We do have a protected academic half day, so all residents sign out their active patient care. And it's really been a change in terms of residents being able to focus on learning as opposed to getting paged by nurses and getting pulled away to clinical care. And we've really been able to staff well to make sure residents don't feel like they're leaving their patients without good care. We have APPs and even attendings who cover instead of the residents and some of the chiefs. I mentioned that our clinic population is really interesting. I would say I'm a peds subspecialist, and I guess I say too much, but I think that if anybody has any other questions, you can directly chat me, and definitely talk to our residents who are going to be in the breakout room.
All right, thank you so much for that presentation. So it looks like our last program for today is going to be Atrium Health Carolinas. So program representative, if you could please unmute and begin your presentation.
Hi, I'm Taylor. I'm one of the current chief residents at Atrium Health. We also are Carolinas Medical Center and Levine Children's Hospital. We have lots of different names you might hear, but we are in Charlotte, North Carolina. This year, we were super excited to take our first class of 16 interns. So previously we had 12 per class, now we have 16. So currently we have 40 residents But next year that will be 42, and then I guess the year after that will be 44. Math is hard. We have all the subspecialties, but thankfully, something I've enjoyed about our program is we do not have fellows, except for the emergency department. So as somebody that wants to go into critical care, it's been really fun to train in a place that has lots of experience, high acuity, without fellows. As far as curriculum, we are switching to a 13 4-week block schedule this upcoming academic year, to be in line with the new ACGME requirements. So we're kind of hashing that out. As of right now, we do academic half day every Tuesday, and our residents really love that. We actually leave the hospital, go to one of our medical education buildings, that's still on the hospital campus, but it's just physically separate from the hospital. So it's great and really protected educational time for everyone. We do sim labs every quarter and have a really amazing sim lab faculty that work with us and get to know us pretty well. As far as our longitudinal curriculum options, we have global health, and you are able to do a month elective. I believe our sites are in Guatemala and Ghana. It's where most of our residents go, but you can definitely branch out and explore outside of that if you like to. We have what's called a CARE track, which is a longitudinal advanced advocacy program. Through that, we are able to get involved with legislative advocacy, or really any sort of advocacy you're interested in. That's what I took part in as a resident, and it was just a really fruitful experience for me. And then a newer track we have, this is probably the second year, is an inpatient kind of ICU-based track, where residents can sort of create their own experience with what they want to do in the hospital, whether that's spending time with respiratory therapy, shadowing the transport, we call them their med center area here, but the transport teams, you kind of design whatever you would like to do. Those are, I think, all the tracks. Office-based too, if you just want to rotate in a general pediatrics clinic out in the community to get a taste of what different general pediatrics is like, you can do that too. We have a really robust QI curriculum with a large QI staff that's just dedicated to our department. There are multiple QI projects ongoing all the time, and I think a lot of our residents have been able to present their QI work at PAS meetings nationally each year, because we just have a lot of support for that, and we get travel funding, scholarships from our research department as well. So that's really awesome for us. As far as diversity and inclusion goes, Dr. Shamika Dixon is our chair for our DEI committee as a Atrium wide. She is a adolescent medicine physician and was actually my advisor for residency. She is awesome, and leads our diversity and health equity grand rounds once a quarter, which residents are invited to be a part of. And it's really helpful just to be a part of those too, to learn how to lead some of these brave discussions that we have. For the important stuff, I feel, resident wellness stuff, our health insurance is actually covered by Atrium, which is great. That includes for your family too. So I had a baby in residency, and getting health insurance for the whole family without paying a premium has been awesome. We get meal points every quarter, and most people have more than they would ever need. And so they have plenty of room to spare, free snacks and drinks and food. And now there's a free ice cream cooler in the attending lounge, which is really awesome. And we also have free parking. Charlotte is really fun. We have NFL football team. We now have a professional soccer team. We've got a level 3. I'm not sure about baseball. It's not a major league team, but it's a good one still. The Charlotte Knights. We also have a hockey team. So if you're into sports, there's always something to do. Plenty of concerts, all different genres of music. Artists come here. Lots of food. The food scene is pretty intense. There's all different kinds of cuisines, breweries. There's tons of stuff to do. We also have 2 lakes nearby. You're like 3 hours from the beach, 2 hours from the mountains. So it's a really perfect location where you're kind of close to everything. I love it.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Dr. Allen, for that presentation. So I just want to make sure, looks like we don't have program representatives from Wake Forest or from University of Mississippi. Unless program representative, if you're here, you can unmute. but I didn't see. So we're going to go ahead and share the infographics that these two programs sent. Unfortunately, they couldn't join us today, but feel free to take a screenshot or watch again. On our YouTube, we'll post the webinar. So first we have Wake Forest in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So I'm just going to give you all a few seconds. Okay, and then our next infographic is from University of Mississippi in Jackson, Mississippi. So you can go ahead and take a picture of that one. And so that basically concludes the program overview portion of the evening. So now we're going to open up the floor to a live Q&A. If anyone prefers to remain anonymous, please feel free to send me a direct message in the chat and I will address your question to the program representatives. If not, you can go ahead and type your question in the chat, or you can just unmute and ask your questions. Okay, so we have a question asking, what kinds of wellness initiatives does your program offer for residents?
Is this free for anybody to answer, I guess?
Yeah. So any program representative want to answer.
Okay. Okay, cool. I could talk quickly about what we do. So we have during academic half day each quarter, we have pretty much a whole academic half day related to wellness. So we talk about different aspects from the wellness wheel. So whether it be financial, personal, oh gosh, they'd be so upset I'm forgetting the aspects of the wheel, but there's all different aspects and we go into those each quarter. We have a very healthy social committee that also meets regularly after academic half day. We have a holiday party annually at our program director's house. We have an annual poker party in February. What else do? We do pretty good amount of lake days, bonfires, and pool parties, things like that. So we try to get together a lot, but have structured wellness time within our curriculum as well.
Since I was talking too much, I didn't really get to talk about this. So at Inova, we also kind of have a mix of things that happen during academic half day, specific sessions, workshops related to resilience and skill building. But we also do have a social committee. We tend to have a lot of picnics and happy hours. Northern Virginia is kind of a hotbed of any type of ethnic food you could want. And you can pretty much DoorDash anything to your house pretty quickly. Unfortunately, my kids have discovered that at a young age. But we really also take a cue from the residents themselves and ask their feedback from what they want to do. Some years residents want to go out and do yoga together. Others want to just go out to happy hour. And we make sure that those efforts are funded. We will host game nights at our house. And Inova also has the benefit of being like the healthcare provider for the Nationals, the Washington Spirit, and the DC United. So we get discounted tickets to different sports events. And some of our attendings actually have tickets that they share with the residents as well. I know Alex is taking advantage of that. But I think it's a moving target. I think every year the group of residents is different and what they want and what defines their wellness strategy is different. So we try to be kind of nimble in that regard.
To echo Patty, here at MedStar Georgetown, we get some of the other sports teams instead that they don't cover. So we do get the Georgetown Hoyas, and our chair has season tickets. So he's usually likely to give some people some Hoya tickets, though I haven't taken advantage of that one. But I have season tickets to the Washington Spirit, our women's soccer team, and have given residents tickets to join me. But we also have other opportunities being in DC. And so when we do our program retreats, we really try to get out into the community, whether it's a hike or paddle boating or stand-up kayaking or stand-up paddleboarding. We've done it all, just trying to get actually out of the hospital a little bit for when we do our retreats. So they're usually a combination of something academic or development, but also something a little bit fun. We've done scavenger hunts throughout the city. So trying to get people out of the hospital and really getting some good bonding in.
Yeah, at the Children's Hospital of Richmond, I would that, we do a lot of the same social events, trying to get people outside, trying to bring them together, to eat, to have fun, to do the things they want. We try to be nimble as well and allow the, residents to really dictate. The other thing that we sort of focus on at work and wellness at work rather than outside of work is giving our residents a lot of say in their education and how our curriculum is designed. So we have a steering committee that meets frequently, and we pose all major curricular changes to our steering committee and empower them to really make a lot of the decisions that shape their day-to-day curricular activities. So.
At the University of Kentucky, we also are super interested in what the residents have to say. They were wanting to have more wellness initiatives and have created an entire wellness committee. And this crop of residents is really interested in going out monthly outside of work and have been setting up monthly activities. In addition, as a program, we have a lot of program traditions. The interns every year go on a 2-day retreat to Red River Gorge, do hiking game nights, and really just get to know each other. Every March, the entire department goes out for what we call March Madness, and every year it's different, whether it's axe throwing or going to an arcade. And then in addition, we have a noon conference every month that we dedicate to making sure that we're answering residents' questions and addressing any wellness concerns at work.
All right, anyone else want to add anything about your wellness programs before we move on to the next question? Okay, all right, so it looks like we have a question in the chat that says, do the programs support with job searches after the residency program, or are the residents mostly retained?
It's a really wide variety, depends on the year. I know this year our past class was very fellowship heavy. So we had 7 graduates go into fellowship after the 11 and 2 staying for chief resident years. 1 stayed and joined our faculty in a hospitalist role, and the other took a primary care position back closer to where she had done medical school in the Midwest. So it really depends year to year.
So I think for us, this also is personalized because we have about a third to a half of our residents end up wanting to do fellowship. And because we don't have a lot of fellowship, a lot of our effort is to make sure that they match well. So a lot of our residents do match well. And we have this kind of interesting trend that a lot of them are now coming back to be faculty after they've done fellowship somewhere else, which is pretty cool. A lot of residents, I think, end up staying in the area where they've trained, and there's a lot of local connections in our region as well, where everybody gets a job after residency, I can definitively say. I don't know if that answers your question. But I do know that lots of residents will come back to us even years after they've left to say, I'm thinking about this job. And Dr. Donnelly especially really keeps connected with our alumni to help connect them even years after they've left.
All right, and then looks like in the chat, we already have some program representatives answering, but someone wanted to ask about if there's any upcoming coffee house or virtual meetings for your program.
Our program offers a virtual meet and greet with the residents the night before interviews usually. So I think those signups are sent out after interviews are offered through ERAS, I believe.
We do the same. We have a night before for those interviewing, and then we will also have 2 virtual events prior to interview season for those who are still kind of deciding, what programs to include on their applicant list that anyone can attend. And more information will be out about that soon when they're going to be planned for.
We also typically offer evening meet and greets after we have offered interviews, which we will send out to applicants.
Okay, thank you. So it looks like we're approaching the end of our program overview portion, but we do have time for one more question. So we got a question asking what types of interdisciplinary activities are offered in your residency curriculum? For example, any rotations with pharmacy, learning certain nursing skills, etc.
I can answer for Inova here. We have a rotation that allows us to rotate with physical therapists, occupational therapists, or speech therapists. It's an development rotation, so you spend a lot of the time with the developmental pediatrician, but then you get to actually go out in the community and do home visits, seeing what it's like to have a physical, occupational, or speech therapist kind of do an evaluation, and then what they do treatment-wise for toddlers or even young kids with developmental delays that need some extra help. So that was really cool to see.
We have the same, although we don't do home visits, we rotate through our long-term care facility with our speech therapists and physical therapists. We also do family-centered rounds that are multidisciplinary on each of our units. And so whether you're on the general team, the PICU, NICU, HEMONC, the pharmacist will be there with you in rounds, as well as usually a social worker, and oftentimes a care coordinator. And then sort of on the fun side of things, we have resident nursing mixers each month at a different brewery or local restaurant.
All right, so it looks like we're approaching the end. So hopefully everyone got a chance to learn a bit more about what our Southern programs have to offer. Again, we just want to reiterate how thankful we are to all the program representatives and residents for joining the Zoom today. Thank you so much for your time, and this webinar will be available on YouTube in a few days. So now we're all going to go back to the main room.
All right, we are just going to wait for everybody to trickle in from their breakout rooms. I see everybody's coming back now, so this is perfect. Just a few closing remarks before we head out for the evening. I'm going to invite one of our FPR teammates to wrap us up.
Thank you so much, everybody. Hopefully, all of us got a chance to learn a bit more about what the Southern programs have to offer. We want to repeat how grateful we are to all the program directors, coordinators, residents, and other representatives who took out the time to join us tonight. Once again, if you did not already get a chance, let us know what you thought about tonight's event by completing our survey. Feel free to scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the chat. This screen, yes. As a reminder, there is a one-time registration for all of our webinars on the previous slide. Feel free to scan that QR code on the screen or register by clicking the link in your Zoom chat. Thank you once again to all the program representatives for taking time out of your hectic schedules to be with us tonight and support us applicants. We appreciate you more than you know. And we hope everyone has a great rest of your night. Hope to see you all at our future events.